following program makes use of copywritten material as part of a psychological examination of music. All music copyrights remain property of their respected creators.
Hey, before we go on in today's episode, I got a secret for you. Today's show is brought to you by Effin' Classy Tattoo. Okay, check this shit out. My boy Ronnie Veritas is on board. Okay, dude's a phenomenal tattoo artist. Okay, you guys are gonna want to go to this dude. Dude is on point with his ink. You can go to Effin' Classy at 2804 Lake Road, Suite 5, Tuesday through Saturday, 3 to 11 p.m., 936-435-9300. You know what's cool about these guys that I've learned to appreciate is they fix cheap-ass tattoos, okay? You walk in with just something that you thought you would never be able to replace. You walk in there, they fix it for you, okay? You get all the second chances you want with these guys, all right? Not to mention, these guys are some fantastic tattoo artists in themselves. You could find anything from their catalogs that will be perfect for you. Anything to fit your personality. You can also go on their website, evanclassy.com, sign up for special deals and updates. And like I said before, if you didn't get FCT, you probably got screwed. Damn, John Daniel. Back at it again with the Life, Death, and Music podcast. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Anyways, welcome to today's show. Today's show will be the third segment of our little Life, Death, and Music talks.
Which I think is a pretty important part of our show.
Yeah, it's important. Like we say many times, so I'm gonna say it again. Like, we do these interviews and we do the showcase specials and we do all the stupid all the stupid shit. But when we can get together and we can talk to each other one-on-one, to me, those are some of our best episodes because that's genuinely who we are. I think that's sort of off the basis of why we even started this goddamn show, is the kinds of conversations that we can hold with each other. So it could be philosophical, it could be funny as hell, it could be a little bit of everything.
You're going to learn a little bit of who we are whenever you, listen to the interviews, a little bit of who we are whenever you listen to the showcase specials, but you're going to learn nothing but who we are in the Life, Death, and Music series.
Most definitely. And in today's episode, as our previous Life, Death, and Music episodes, we talked a lot about just
life, death, and music.
I see what you did there. No, we talk a little bit about some paranormal shit. We talk about
supernatural
shit. We talk a little bit about music, obviously. We talk about some apparent anger issue I had. I don't even remember what the fuck that was about, but some shit went on. We talk a little bit of everything. And just as it was before, and as I'm sure it'll be in the future, getting to talk to you like this in this format is always fun. Like, I was sitting, like, normally I sit across the table from you, but I remember I was sitting right beside you when we did this show. So I felt like I was really holding a conversation with you, but there just happened to be microphones and computers and headphones and all this super gadget shit going on in between.
Yeah, we have super gadget here. Not regular kind of gadgets.
No. But no, it was a fun episode. And we get to listen to some good music in there as well. So that'll be fun. Absolutely. Anyways, on board. Let's go. Johnny, take it.
Wait.
What?
Everybody needs to buy our merch.
Right. Hey, fuck me, right? Go to conversationalistspodcast.com. Go to our merch. We got stickers for sale. We got a small little round circle with our faces on it, which go perfect on your notebook or your laptop or just about anywhere. Right. And then we have a bumper sticker, which will go perfect on that sweet-ass ride that you got. Anyways, now that the plug is done, Johnny, quickly, do it. Go!
Do it. Wait, what do you want me to...
Just fucking go in an intro before the intro music starts.
Welcome to the Conversationalists.
Fucking went over.
Bitch, I love you.
I think you mentioned that on a few different podcasts already.
It's a good song, man. I think you just need to give it a chance. You've only listened to it like the few times that I've played it, right?
I've listened to it.
But were you really listening to it? Or
Nah, I wasn't really listening to it.
See, man, because he's talking about all the essential things that you need to like talk about in like those kinds of songs. Like some bitch did him wrong, and now his heart is broken, and now he's putting it all out. The Cranberries prepare to make comeback to the stage. The Cranberries are coming back.
It's beautiful.
Would you go see the Cranberries?
No.
Why not?
Because they suck.
They don't suck. I mean, okay, Zombie got way overplayed. Dreams was my fucking shit. Like, I put that song on a fucking on a prom mix CD. Like, I made a mix CD for a friend. Well, no, not for a friend. I was going to prom with a girl, and I made a mix CD, and it had "Dreams" by the Cranberries on it because I thought that was like, because like in my head I'm kind of like in John Hughes mode, like 16 Candles, Breakfast Club,
right?
Like the whole being a teenager is like a beautiful dream kind of thing.
Right.
So I put some pretty good music. I put that. Probably put some. Shit, that was 2008, 9. I have no idea what the fuck kind of music I was listening to back then, but I know Dreams was on there. Cranberries' Dreams was definitely on there because I remember like starting it off with that. You ever like make a mix CD and like you like have a specifically designed like set list? Like you wanted to start it off like this.
It's got to start off like this, and then it's got to go. It's got to mold into this song.
Yeah.
And then from there, I want it to kind of get some energy and kind of have a feeling to it.
Almost like you're telling a story.
Right.
Like I remember I made a mix CD for my good friend who I met in college, Anna Bickerton, and we were big into like exchanging mix CDs.
Right.
Like we were trying to like bring back the whole novelty of exchanging mix. We call them mixtapes. Like I would write in mixtape, but it was just a CDR. But I would start it with like a certain song, like was very kind of high energy, and then about midway it kind of like stooped down to like some more mellow stuff.
Right.
And then at the very end, like the energy came back. And the way I was explaining it to her is like it's kind of like whenever you go to a party. Like you start there, energy's there, it's live, you're having fun time. You pop a few caps, the energy starts to go down a little bit, you're just chilling, it's all mellow. And then
pop a few caps. And
then at the very end, it's like, the sun is rising, you just had the greatest night of your life with your friends. And then you're driving off into the sunrise, the energy just comes back to you and you're just taken in by that moment. So you end with kind of like a positive kind of I want to say I ended the CD with Wake Up by Arcade Fire.
I don't think I've heard it now.
It was on I don't think it was on the soundtrack, but it was on the preview for Where the Wild Things Are, the movie that's based off the book.
Right.
You ever seen that movie?
No.
It's the kind of movie where...
I haven't even read the book.
Man, you had a fucked up childhood. Anyways, it's the kind of story, the movie in general, it's about a kid who dresses up in like a wolf outfit, and he pretends to be a wolf, like in real life.
Right.
And he kind of has like a troubled home, and he decides to run away, and then he gets in a boat, and then he just sort of like goes off into the ocean, and he lands on this island that's like owned by like these huge monsters known as the Wild Things.
Right.
And they see him.
Do they speak English?
Yeah, they speak English.
That's weird.
And they see him in his wolf outfit, and they think he's like a king, so they turn him into the king of the island of the Wild Things. And
what did like these wild things? How did they evolve?
They don't go into that. There's no room for that.
Go into that.
They just
they exist out of nothing.
No, see, the whole thing is it's all in the kid's head.
Oh,
spoilers! I just ruined
man.
the whole thing for you. It's all in his head.
See I would have already picked that up from the science behind the Wild Things.
It doesn't matter shit. Maybe there's islands out there that are completely occupied by fucking beasts that we don't know. There's islands out there that are occupied by fucking indigenous tribes that are fucking cannibals.
Yeah,
it's fucked up, but they exist. Maybe there is an island of big fucking man bears. Man bear pigs.
Like Bigfoot?
Yeah. Do you
Maybe
think,
that's where Bigfoot came from.
do you think Bigfoot exists, or do you think that was all just started by some dumbass that wanted to have fun and like got, because okay.
Because there is footage.
Okay. I don't think he exists.
Right.
I think it was
What about a Loch Ness monster?
Loch Ness.
I think that was a log. A log in the water.
I don't know.
I
I don't know
think
about
the-
that.
the-
I don't know about that.
You don't
dude.
know about that.
No,
Because there's like one picture of Loch Ness.
okay, but
Or the monster. That's like saying that's one picture of Frankenstein.
right.
Because a Frankenstein's monster, it's not what you call it.
But I mean, it could be a log. It could be
I think somebody dropped a log
in Scotland.
in Scotland.
Do you have you ever heard of Mothman by any chance?
The prophecies.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I've seen the movie, but it didn't scare me, and I was young, and I wasn't really able to understand.
Well, apparently the movie Mothman Prophecies with Richard Gere really wasn't all that scary. I think what makes it scary is the thought that this is sort of kind of based off of a real thing. Real bunny ears,
Right.
Or like there's been cases.
There's a real issue.
Yeah, there's been
somewhere.
there was cases. Man, you are fucking up, spilling drinks.
Glad it was.
There have been cases where many people have said, I saw a man with these like bright red eyes
right.
who talked to me, and then he flew off.
Yeah.
You
You gotta understand. I don't really believe much of anything supernatural. Or anything that goes into the supernatural field. The one thing that goes into the supernatural thing that I believe has to exist is aliens.
You think aliens exist?
I definitely think they exist, but I don't think that they've come to this planet at all.
Well, what about the pyramids? Do you think there's that theory
I think slaves
No.
built-
There's a theory that the aliens came down a long time ago and provided us with the tools, or even made the pyramids or whatever, back in the day. But
I just think that there's several room for that to be possible, man. I just I don't think that it did.
Well, just
I think that we can see so far into our universe that the travel for any sort of creature to come to this planet in its own lifetime, and that is simply that's imagining that they have a lifetime the length of ours, or anywhere close. I think that for them to go from one sort of, what's the word? Level of technology. We would be able to see that level of technology if they had the technology to have a ship that can make it to our planet in a lifetime. They would be dead by the time they got here, or it'd have to be so fast that it would screw up their genetic makeup.
I can see that. Whenever you see something that depicts aliens, and this is solely just your own personal opinion, do you like it more when it's like the super tall gray guy with like really like long like limbs?
Here's the
or
thing,
do you prefer like the monster?
Have you ever heard of the SETI
okay,
signal or whatever? SETI?
Who?
Okay, basically years back, maybe 30 years, I don't know, 50 years, I'm not too informed on this. They sent out a message into space, and it was just like
There was like a bunch of random shit, like wasn't Hitler on that message?
I don't think so.
I heard something like they sent a message or like a bunch of messages.
The message basically depicts what planet they're in the solar system.
Okay, I'm talking about something
from the sun. It's basically a graph. It's like a drawing.
Okay.
You ever see graph paper?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this was an image that was put in all these squares.
Okay.
To try to figure out, and it would show the shape of size difference between our heads and our bodies. and what planet we are from the sun, certain things in our, how our science works here, biologically speaking, and just different things that would fit like on one page of graph paper. And they sent it out into space, so several light years out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we received a message much like it, but completely different. And the heads were much bigger on these, the beings, it was depicting it, it showed a different planet away from their sun of where they were at. And it's man, it's something that existed, but I mean, who knows how true it is to what we're thinking that it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Maybe there's some sort of issue, maybe something beamed out and then beamed back, a reflection of our own with a few, mistakes. But I just think, I mean, there's different people who have said that they exist, who they don't, who they've witnessed it, whatever. What it comes down to me is I think that it's impossible for us to be the only ones. I just think that the universe is so giant. The universe itself is so giant. Right. Outside of the universe, the multiverse is so giant.
Do you believe that there's another version of you in a different universe?
No. I believe purely in cause and effect, man. I think that things just come from what they come from before. I don't really believe in the whole multi-dimensional thing, like the Schrodinger's cat thing. You know what I'm talking about?
No idea what that is.
There's the belief, and I believe Einstein was a part of this whole thing, or just he would talk about it and comment on it, a belief that reality has two ends, has two ways that it goes about. And the simple example is there's a cat in a box, and it's got poison in the box if it chooses to push a button and it opens up the poison. And for some reason there's a 50-50 chance that the cat pushes the button and the poison is released. Okay? So the reality is, or the question at hand is the cat in the box dead or alive? There's a 50-50 chance. But the notion is that the cat is actually both dead and alive at the same time, because we haven't experienced what's going on with the cat. So whenever we experience the cat is whenever it bases the decision of whether the cat chose. So it's a perception is reality kind of thing. Yeah.
So you don't think that? Well, I mean, I'm saying, okay. I mean, because we'll never know. I mean, we're not fucking astronauts. We'll never fucking know what's going on in the on other universes going on around us, unless NASA decides to actually be a fucking thing again. If NASA decides to be hip again and start exploring,
it's not NASA's fault, man.
Well, the fucking government or whoever isn't funding NASA.
It's the government.
It's the
man.
government.
It's the people.
Yeah. If
it's the Trumpsters. I'm just kidding.
Unless something like that happens, man, maybe there is another a John 2 or a John 3 or something like that.
I think there's a few Johns out there.
They're probably no shit. It's the most common name in America. But you know what I'm trying to get at, you fucking dick. Like, if there's another version of you in a different galaxy, someone who's like a lot like. I remember there was this movie called. Called The One.
Right.
It starred Jet Li and Jason Statham, and it was like a total like action blockbuster. And the thing is that this guy, he traveled dimensions, and he found the other version of him, and he killed him, and like he absorbed his energy to become like the most supreme version of his self. Right. Corny as hell, but it existed. But whenever he would go to a different universe, and like the version of him would have like blonde hair, and it was like very like Flock of Seagulls. He was a very chipper and very happy guy. And then they go in the next universe, he's like a prisoner, or like he's like a criminal kind of guy. You know, like there's different versions of you. So all I'm trying to pose to you, sir, is that maybe somewhere there's like a version of you who thinks he's black, and like he's wearing like a do-rag and like a XXXL white tee,
like a Wegro.
A Wegro. I've never heard that word before, but I'm so using it.
Try to keep things PC, man.
I don't know. I think that would be like a cool thing. Not that I'll ever know if it exists or not, but just the thought of it.
See, I mean, it's just all perspective.
See,
that's just the thing.
I think right now, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think right now, like you're like going like hardcore, like Neil deGrasse Tyson. You're just laying down the facts for me, but I'm just trying to dream. I'm just trying to have little dreamies here, and just be like, wouldn't that be cool?
I think the word for it is bullshitting.
Hey, man. If there's anything in life I'm good at, it's bullshitting. Yeah. True story. No. My dad is actually the master of bullshitting, and he doesn't take any like shame in that. Like,
you shouldn't, man.
You know,
a good bullshitter is a good bullshitter.
He says, "Baffle them with bullshit." Like that's one of his sayings. Like, I don't know what it starts off like.
That's how you get far in life.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm so much a bullshitter or if I'm just
a shit buller.
A shit buller. A shit bulls. No.
I think that's a rapper, isn't it? Shit bull.
That was a good one. I hope he never hears this.
I hope he does, man. He's listening to our podcast and shit.
Fucking, I don't think so much like I'm much on like bullshit. I mean, like I have a very strange like don't give a shit kind of like don't care kind of, but not in the apathetic sense. In the sense of like nothing really like gets to me, or so I don't allow that thing to like give its negative energy onto me and affect me in a weird way. I'm not saying I'm completely numb, because like I'm sure I'll probably see some like very like crazy shit in my time, and it'll affect me in a really extreme way. But it's the same thing as like the theory of just like letting go. You know what I mean? Like consistently like letting go of things that might bring you down, or things that you might carry with you for a while. If you just like let go like constantly, then you don't have to worry about anything in general. I mean, like I mean, whenever we do shows or whatever, like it's not that I don't care. It's just I don't allow myself to get like wrapped up in anything. I just sort of like just like go with it. Like
just let it go.
Yeah,
just let it happen.
Exactly.
Just let it happen, Niko. Just let it happen.
Why are you unzipping your pants?
Just let it happen. Just let it happen.
It's terrible, man. I would never want that to happen to me.
Yeah, man. No reason to ruin a friendship.
That's one way to ruin a friendship right there. I mean, we were eating spaghetti last night. Now you're just full on. Oh,
it's that thin? You want to call it spaghetti?
Oh, man.
Dick.
No, man. Not at all. Man, dude.
I mean, what kind of supernatural stuff do you think? Would you say that you believe in that's a little further from what most people probably believe?
Well, I would say, I mean, I wouldn't say religion, because there's nations upon nations who believe in religion, even though you consider that to be more supernatural, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I put it in the phenomenal.
Yeah. But something that's probably that sticks out. Are you saying like stuff that I think exists, but maybe not other people would exist?
Right. Other people wouldn't really agree. I mean, which, in that sense, religion, can be one of those,
Yeah, but but
there's a lot of people that do believe in it.
Yeah. That's something, I mean, it really depends on who I'm talking to, because if I were to say I'm a religious person, then there is a 50-50 chance that someone's going to be like, oh yeah, well, I'm not. And then in my realm, like, that's the person who doesn't acknowledge it, which that's okay. I don't give a shit if people don't.
Right.
If they're not down with my man JC, that's what it is. What it is. Something that I guess. I mean, I don't really believe in Mothman. I think that was made up.
I think it's exciting. A lot of these things, like What about ghosts? That's a good one.
I've definitely had some like spirits.
Something's happened.
Something's happened. I've definitely heard like loud noises.
Loud noises.
Like a lot of like.
Yeah.
Like
And
random.
it wasn't like pipes.
No, it wasn't pipes at all. It was very much like.
There's a lot of things in history that would, almost, prove an existence of ghosts. I don't believe in them, but my disbelief only goes so far. If I'm in a place where it's known to be haunted,
do you think do you think it's the house that's haunted, or do you think it's you that's haunted? That something's constantly following you.
Deep. That was deep, man.
I mean, no, I'm being serious because
I don't believe it. So it's
well, you're making it hard to have a conversation about it. But like, there's people who think that you can try and leave the house if you think a house is haunted, but whatever it is that's haunting you is just going to constantly follow you.
I think
it's not the house; it's you.
I think there's a science behind it. And if it does exist to some level, I certainly think that it's within yourself. But, there might be a level of science that we don't understand, such as there might be something that's exists in metaphysics, something smaller than the physics that we understand. You know what I mean? Maybe something that triggers something in the brain that sees the similar thing that other people see, or is, haunted, gives that psychological level. And maybe it's something in the air that only exists in a house, in a specific house,
So you don't think that it could follow an individual? You think it's...
I certainly don't think that it's of a person that's existed before trying to send a message or anything.
Okay. Is that just you looking at it from the science side, or is that looking at you from never having experienced anything like that, or both?
I mean, that's just ultimately my belief on it.
So you've never experienced anything like that?
I've experienced things. I've heard things. I've felt things. I've felt the weirdness of it.
Have you ever heard anybody whisper in your ear?
Yeah.
Whisper your name in your ear?
Yeah.
I've had that too.
But I have audio hallucinations. Audible. I don't know the word for it, man. Audible hallucinations. Audio hallucinations. Yeah, man. I used to wash dishes, and I'd always hear shit all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like, kill them all. Kill them all. Bathe in their blood.
Right.
And that's a normal thing, man. And
yeah.
I kind of, I see past it. Sometimes I listen to what it says, and sometimes I,
You kill them all.
Yeah, sometimes you got to kill them all.
Yeah, totally. I feel you.
But I was also wearing earbuds and listening to Metallica.
Yeah,
might have
okay,
been
that'll do it. That was terrible.
No, man.
I've legitimately heard, like, I was walking around campus when I was...
Was it your name?
Yeah. I legitimately heard... Niko.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many times whenever I would be walking, and, like, I would be around people, but it was people I had no idea who they were. Or then sometimes I would be walking from my dorm room to the cafeteria, which was on the exact opposite side of the university, and then I would hear, Niko.
See, I can see how that would be a little bit more haunting for you than it would be for me, because I've got a common-ass name. You know what I mean?
But when you're completely by yourself?
I do think that...
Who said your name? Who could possibly have whispered in your ear perfectly...
I think that our brains are super powerful of things in our subconscious. I think our subconscious works a lot. And it may not be anything that we motivate towards. I mean, there is self-destruction that happens on a subconscious level. There are different things that our brain does outside of our conscious mind. I definitely
Do you think our subconscious could actually drop like a thing of paranoia? To where, like, we think we're hearing, like, stuff like that?
It legitimately does. It does that. Our brains do that. That's a thing.
That's never happened to me before. Maybe, I don't think the whisper was anything in my head.
Okay.
I legitimately thought that
your ears only work inside of your head.
I know that.
The way that your ears work, the canals work, you're getting it out of your head. Your mind perceives visional things within your head. Like any of your senses only exist with your brain transferring it into other stuff. So I think that itself is the control. I mean, and if that decides that it wants to give out this effect or this effect, this is how drugs work. You know what I mean? I mean, it's how drugs work. It's how dreams work. It's how hallucinations work. You know, all together. I think that they can go off of being completely sober, because we also have drugs in our brain.
I'm aware.
We have DMT in our brain. We have dopamine. You know, we've got all kinds of things. And the fact that if it wants to, it can shoot anything, make you feel anything, make you do anything. You know, I don't think that it is a conscious being. I just think that it likes to. It's just a thing that happens fucked up sometimes. You know what I mean? And it pulls different parts of your brain together. You know what I mean? Like you see those people that have acid flashbacks. You know what I mean? They experience things even though they're not actually on anything. You know, the acid is long gone by the time they're actually feeling an acid flashback. You know what I mean? It's just it's the effect that our brain creates. You know, our brains are so capable of anything. If I was going to worship anything, it'd be the fucking brain, just because that is beyond, you know, all that we can know, and it's biased because that's how we know anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. I still feel like there's something fucking following me, whispering in my ear though, because there's no fucking sort of scientific thing that I can go into to explain it or back it up in any way. All I could tell you is I was walking one day and I legitimately heard someone whisper my name into my ear. And sure, I may not have a lot of insight on how the brain works or to know that this is a thing. I don't know nearly enough about the brain as you do. All I know is in that moment in time that when it happened,
well, I mean, I can assure you,
it affected me in a way where I was thinking about, like, yeah, shit, I lost this family member. Yeah, shit, I lost this family not too long ago. Maybe this is something, like, it's probably not the healthiest thing to go to immediately attach those two things together.
It just depends on what you want to do with it, man.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But for some reason, and maybe that's where my subconscious took control of it, whereas, like, I was thinking, yeah, so-and-so passed away. It's like whenever you, like, I had a dream about somebody, and it all spurred from, like, a little miniature thought. And it turned into a full, like, length movie dream in my head. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that's what my brain wanted to do with that singular thought. Maybe this is what my brain wanted to do with the thought of somebody dying. But in that moment in time, all I could fucking think about is I'm being fucking haunted.
Right.
It's a fucking overwhelming. Well, I mean, especially being a kid, 18 years old, and not knowing a damn thing about anything, fucking hearing voices. I'm thinking, like, first off, I'm completely on my own. Yeah, I'm living on my own. I have no family around me. Maybe that's how I was responding to it, by, like, the feeling of the overwhelming feeling of being alone, and then having somebody, like, trying to talk to me to, like, or my brain trying to talk to me to, like, comfort me in some fucked up way. Who fucking knows?
Maybe you were going crazy.
Maybe I was. I am fucking crazy.
But no, I mean, here's the thing, though. I mean, we all have that inside of ourselves that makes us go crazy. You know what I mean? That is the brain. You know what I mean? And you know that crazy people have those auditory hallucinations. They're real. You know, they're real things. And I've experienced it.
Yeah.
You know, ultimately what it comes to in life is we got to realize that we're all crazy. We're all a little off in some degree, but the reality and what matters is if we're, you know, stable. You know what I mean? Some people need drugs to get better. Some people are way too fucked.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it like that. Sorry, guys, if you guys are listening, y'all are too fucked. Some people, you know, certain drugs help, and sometimes they don't need to go that far with drugs. Maybe there's herbal remedies to help them, you know. But for me, I would rather be, you know, I would rather find other ways to deal with whatever issues that I may have. I don't feel like, you know, I wouldn't put myself really in the crazy category, but obviously, you know, everybody experiences some psychological things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And really, what it comes down to is we got to learn that crazy is a subjective term.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's all what's the word? It's just perceptive.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's however you want to view it. You know, but you know, there are people that need help, and then there are people that don't need help.
Yeah.
And that's really the way that we, you know, should view it. You know, I think that, you know, I've certainly had auditory hallucinations. It felt real. Sometimes they're more.
Have you ever had
more clear than other?
Have you ever had a sound trigger something? Like you hear something. No, I'm not talking about like
a memory.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I'm not talking about like, you know, fingernails on the chalkboard. Like, but like, I can't hear slamming doors.
Right.
Without thinking about shit that happened to me not too long ago.
Right.
Even if I hear it here.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I've heard the back door slam a couple of times, and I legitimately
you took off.
Like I lost it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
you went for a drive or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is a good form of therapy. There's nothing better than going for a good drive.
Yeah. But has anything like that ever occurred with you? Like, is there a noise that triggers anything in your head?
No. What does get me like that?
Yeah.
Is being trapped.
Yeah.
If I'm in a fight or if I'm and I'm only, you know, I say fight. I'm only in, you know, verbal issues, if anything. I can't be trapped in like I'm just gonna have to go to a very specific story.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my mom were living at a place. I was not psychologically sound. I was taking medicine. Apparently, the medicine is really what was fucking it up worse. Mm-hmm. You know, I started taking medicine because the doctor said that I was depressed, or I was depressive, manic depressive, and I had another one tell me I was bipolar. The reality was originally, you know, all my friends were doing drugs, and I wanted to do the safe ones. Mm-hmm. You know, so I wanted to get it from a doctor, which, you know, reality in hindsight is the safe one is the illegal ones. Not all of them. But, you know, I was going through being on those medicines, and I was just getting worse and worse and worse. Eventually, I figured out that, you know, stopping everything, you know, probably not all at one time. You don't want to cold turkey those kinds of drugs. But I didn't need any of it. I was going a really bad psychological time in my life, and so was the rest of my family. You know, my mom was fighting with me whenever I was getting ready in the morning. You know, we were both in the bathroom, and I was getting, you know, deodorant on or whatever, and me and my mom were just, you know, like verbally violently fighting. Mm-hmm. And she would nag me at the door, you know, my escape, you know, the only way out. And I flipped out. You know, I obviously didn't hit anybody or anything, but like I fucking like threw the cologne and started smashing shit. And that is my one unsafe point. You know, when somebody traps me into somewhere, you know, it's I just feel uncomfortable.
Does it have to be in like the confrontational setting, or is it like if it was?
I don't think so.
So you're saying like if I was talking to you, like you had just got done using the bathroom, and I stopped you at the door to talk to you, and I'm in the doorway.
I would be able to say something before I got violent, you know.
But you would say, "Hey, could you please move?" Or
yeah, I might do that.
And if I didn't, that would trigger something in your head.
Even if it was
just us talking about like
louder about what I'm trying to.
If I was just saying, "Hey, what do you want to do for dinner tonight?"
I think that it probably does have to be that I've got to be in a state. You know what I mean? I've already got to be a little pissed off before it really triggers. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Because with me, with the whole slamming doors thing,
it could be any time.
At any single time,
right?
Like I could have the best day of my life, and the thing is like. At work, like I hear a lot of like loud noises. Like if somebody were to drop like a wooden pallet, it does nothing to me. I've heard it so many times. I used to work in a factory where I used to have to wear earbuds to keep me from going deaf.
Right.
And I would hear the sound of the pressing machines really fucking loud.
Yeah.
If I didn't have my buds in, I would probably go deaf. But the second I hear a fucking door smash against the I lose it. And it's like really it scares me in the sense that I'll never be the way I was before
it all happened.
Yeah. It's like a noise that might stick with me, or like a trauma that might stick with me, even though when all that shit was going on, that was probably 2012, so we're probably 4 years removed from that environment. It's still I found a way to stick with me.
Right. And certain things always will. I mean, honestly, the whole thing with me isn't a very big deal because very rare does it ever happen.
Yeah.
And I've got to be in that specific mindset. And I don't know if any of you guys know me, but I'm very rarely ever pissed off.
Yeah. You're fucking moody and cranky and like irritable, but I don't think I've ever seen you
I do get a little depressed sometimes. And I shut down is my problem. But definitely, like, I'm very rarely pissed off, and if I am pissed off, I always try to avert.
Yeah.
I try to find something else to feel, something else to do, some way to get out of it.
Yeah.
I'm not good with that emotion.
Are you more like afraid of?
I take it internally. Sometimes I find the fault in myself, which is a fucking problem.
Yeah. That could be. That's some harmful shit.
I know it absolutely is.
I mean, I could see. I think that's the kind of personality where you try to avoid confrontation, like you being that kind of. I'm not speaking to you specifically. I'm just talking about it in general. Like if you're the kind of person that avoids confrontation, whenever you do get to it, you're still gonna try to continue to do it,
right?
But you might lead it down a certain route where it comes back to you,
right? I do eventually. Well, I'll be harboring the feeling and shutting down is what happens for me. Eventually, I do come back.
Yeah.
And whenever I do come back, I usually destroy take everything and just take it away. Just,
right.
I usually get rid of it. I dispose of it.
Do you remember the last time that you were really mad about something?
Well, I don't want to bring it up.
Why not? Is it about me?
No.
It's about a certain someone that we know?
Yeah.
Okay.
That couldn't be any more vague.
Who cares?
It should be, yeah, but no, I mean, it's, I've got things going on.
Yeah. No, I understand. I don't remember the last time I think the last time I was mad, it was fun. I remember the exact last time I was mad. It's all stuff that goes on in my head.
Right.
Because you know me. If I'm not talking now, I'm usually not talking at all. But if I'm not talking, I'm talking a lot in my head. I guess that's just one of those introvert characteristics.
Yeah.
But one time at work, I was literally like playing out a scenario of what would happen if I were to see my stepdad again.
Yeah.
Like if he were to show up at the store, and like I was literally like living out like everything that I know he would say and everything I know I would say, and like the subconscious version of me was getting mad at him. Right. So then I felt like me heating up. I felt like my veins in my neck starting to pop out. I was starting to feel all those things, and like I'm like pacing around the store. Because like I'm just like thinking about what if I saw that dude again and he was like trying to like find out where my mom is, and I'm like lashing out like causing a scene at the store or whatever.
Right.
And then it was funny. I told my mom about this because this is well past the whole like I tell my mom everything. So I told her about that dream, or at least that scenario, and she had told me that she had just got done talking with him.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and she had one of those classic "oh my god" like one of those moments.
Oh my god, Niko.
Yeah, that's exactly how she sounds, you racist motherfucker. But yeah, like that was probably okay. No, there's that. Okay, that's one of the last times I was mad. I remember a more recent time where I was mad. Okay, so I'm at the grocery store. I'm at the store, and I'm stocking some fucking potato chips, right? And I see a girl that I graduated with, very like amazing friend. She was in my class, And last night, I hadn't seen her since graduation, only on Facebook. She's married to some soldier dude, living in Germany or something like that, because that's where he's stationed.
Yeah.
And I run into her, and I see her. I haven't seen her in probably 6-7 years. So maybe I go up to her, I hug her. I'm just so ecstatic. I'm so happy to see her, as she is. She's very happy to see me again, and talking about what's going on in our lives or whatever. And she sees that I'm working at a grocery store, and she goes, "Oh, so this is what you're doing now." I heard that, okay, and I was like, "Yeah, just until something better comes up." And that was my first response. And then she goes, "Oh, okay." I hear that, right? But everything that my mind turned that into is you're a pathetic failure. You never amounted to anything like we all thought that you were. Everything was oh, so this is what you're doing now.
I expected you to be the king.
Exactly. You were supposed to be the king of the castle, and you're not the king of the castle. You fuck up. But yeah, I heard that, and I remember I had my hands on the where the price tags are, and I was bending the plastic the thing that holds them, and I wanted so badly to break it off.
Yeah. And
my fists are just clenched, you can see my nails in the palms of my hands, and I'm pacing all up aisle 10, right? And I'm heavy, breathing heavy, and I'm just I felt like I was about to implode. Right, and I wanted to I had to physically stop my arm from jerking back to do to punch something. I felt like I was just my body was in complete control. My mind was just seeing red. Right. I was
and then you grew 10 times and turned green.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Red, white, and green. I'm the Mexican Hulk. No. But no, that was. I
could take that places.
That was probably the last time that I was seriously mad about something. And I remember I walked towards the back, and I calmed down. But everything, if anything, crazy enough, being mad, it really encouraged me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was I can't be whatever it is that I'm whether she really thought, "Oh, this is what you really are. You're a fuck up," blah blah blah. Or if it's just "Oh, so this is what you're doing now. Okay, cool." Whatever it was, in my head, I thought of it as I could be better than this.
Right.
So as soon as I heard that, I was I have to get my music out. I have to perform. I have to get in people's ears. I have to do something. Right. And that encouraged me a lot whenever... this happened a while back ago, so, I got to write...
So you took something good out of it.
Yeah. I found a way to get something out of it. And even I can look back to that story with my stepdad and reenacting that whole scenario in my head. Yeah. It allowed me to talk to my mom about a very dark part of my life.
Yeah.
And turn it into kind of a joke.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hearing my mom being "Oh my God." Yeah. That turned it into
you're taking it racist now.
Yeah. Fuck
But you can say it.
I can say it. You can't say it. Only my people can say that word.
It's okay. I got a Mexican friend.
Other than me?
I got a few, man. You're my best Mexican.
You were my only white friend. Now I'm gonna go out and make other white friends, and rub it in your face. I'm friends with white people, John. How does that feel? Anyways, though, man. But I don't think ever since then I've ever had anger. I don't think I have anger. As people will look at me and they'll say you're an angry person, and I'll be no, I'm not. And it's yeah, you totally are. And it's something that I don't understand. But
it's a weird conversation to run into with somebody.
Well, it's not I just meet a fucking stranger. You're really
man,
angry.
You're an asshole.
No, I'm not. No, you are. You're an asshole. No, seriously, I'm not. Okay. That's how the conversation goes.
I like the Louis C.K. No, you can't choose whether you think you're an asshole or not.
I guess... maybe I can be. I just don't acknowledge it. Maybe that's just me being narcissistic.
No,
I don't acknowledge
think you're an angry person. I definitely don't. You're not. I think your best friend has more say than you do. Mm-hmm. And your best friend has more say than this total hypothetical stranger.
Yeah. Because fuck that dude.
So I can tell you right now that you're a human being with emotions.
I guess. If that's what I am.
I don't know, man.
I don't know either. It's all right though.
Again, subjective, perceptive.
Man, have you heard any good tunes lately? Because I've been listening to some good tunes lately.
All right, you want to put in a song?
Well, I'm asking you a legit question before I actually go into it.
Oh, okay.
What,
man.
What have you been listening to?
I've actually, I'll talk about it. Maybe I should. Can I talk about it?
Please
Is
do.
That cool? Wish we had a podcast.
Why I fucking asked you and why we have these microphones and these headphones.
I just got Spotify on my phone.
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
Every goddamn song
I went ahead and paid the $1 for the 3 months
in the world, right?
So yeah, it's like having the perfect collection,
right?
Because it's everything.
It's cool, but in the same sense, like
there's no
It stopped me from
challenge.
No, it stopped me from buying an album once.
Oh,
and I wasn't able to enjoy having. I can't.
But at least they get that 0.02 cents every play,
But like, I haven't.
We're not totally selling them out.
I haven't bought a Deftones album since the self-titled one because of like how easy music is to obtain.
Right.
So whenever Diamond Eyes came out, I just listened to it off of Spotify, and I was like, "Well,
How long have you had Spotify?"
Since I lived in Michigan, so probably about 2012.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like that's how
I just got Spotify.
It's been around.
Yeah. I had it before, but I didn't buy the whole thing, and I just made like a playlist and it sucked.
No, as soon as I got like a job where I could afford like the premium like $10 a month thing, I was totally for that. Like, I mean, as soon as I had money, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be able to do things that I wanted.
Everything.
Yeah. So that album came out. And then it upset me because I remember I went to a store and I saw the physical album and I looked at the back of it and I was like, so this is what the back of this album looks like.
Right. You've already listened to the damn album.
Yeah.
But see, my whole life I've been like burning CDs or buying burnt CDs or having somebody burn me a CD. So, I mean, it's not like I'm always used to listening to the music and having the artwork.
Yeah. All
the time. A few times. I mean, I definitely spend money on CDs.
Yeah.
More than I should probably. But it's just kind of the feeling, I mean, I guess ultimately what should matter is the money goes towards the band, right?
Yeah. All I will say, though, last little bit before you can talk about your music, I remember we went to Hastings, and I picked out 2 vinyl records that I wanted to buy. One of them was by, I guess you call them Double X or the XX, or I don't know exactly how you pronounce their name, but like their band.
It's a band?
It has 2 X's in it.
20.
But no, I don't know if that's what they call themselves. I don't know if they call them 20 or.
Is it like crosses?
No, it's not like crosses. It's just literally just called like the XX.
Oh, the XX. If it says it like that on Spotify, that's what they're going to be called.
Kind of mellow music, very chill. I thought it would be great on a vinyl player, just something I like to listen to. And then another band was The World is a Beautiful Place and I Am No Longer Afraid to Die. It's a long name, but still very, very chill music. And I thought this would be great to buy. I want to buy it. But then I remember I connected to the internet. I looked on Spotify, and I was like, "Well, this is the album right here."
You didn't buy it, did you?
I never bought the album because I had the album on my phone.
Yeah.
So that stopped me from buying an album.
So are you complaining that you saved money?
Yeah, I am. God damn it, no. I don't know. No, I'm talking mostly. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the novelty of what people went through whenever they bought an album.
See, I want to throw away the idea personally. For me, the idea of a novelty, but my conscience has a problem with not buying the album.
Right.
Not enough to where I'm going to change anything that I'm doing by listening to Spotify, but there is a little bit of, hurt that happens from the idea of, the band's not really getting any money from this like they would have been. Like, this is their product, they're selling it.
Yeah.
And not everybody has the mentality that I do of, like, I'd like to give away all my music, but I'm also not making a living off of my music. So that really makes a difference. It's just, I like a good deal, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I like spending zero money.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad for choosing that over the better man.
Yeah.
Inside of me, inside of all of us that knows that we should really be, putting the money towards the band.
Yeah.
Ideally, what I would like to do is I'd like to steal the music and then donate the money. That way they get 100% of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not that kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to think that I am. And I'll just work with that.
Yeah.
I'll just think that I'm that guy, and I'll get away with it.
Whatever makes you sleep better. Anyways,
but we can go back to what I was talking about, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I've been listening to all the old shit, all the old albums I used to have, the stuff I actually paid for at one time or another, back in the day, and just they got ruined or whatever. And the one band that I've really been digging here lately, and it's all that I come back to, is a band called Blur.
Right.
And as you know, Blur is a band that had that song 2, the woohoo! And eventually Damon Albarn started the Gorillaz,
Right.
which is the most successful animated band around. I say animated because it only exists as a cartoon.
Yeah.
These characters, but it's really just Damon Albarn from Blur and whoever he has in recording with them,
Right.
And they do like their shows or whatever, like behind like a big shadow screen or something like that. And
I think that's cool though.
I think it's cool too. But Blur was a band that I really dug, and I only really dug like the one album. I guess it was self-titled. Pretty sure it was self-titled. And I kind of want to go into a song from there.
All right.
If we're ready to put a song up.
I'm ready.
You ready? Okay. Here's a song called Country Sad Ballad Man. Yeah. I really dig that song, man, and I really actually want to show you a lot more songs on that album because it was pretty awesome.
We'll do that sometime.
Absolutely.
We'll listen. We'll if we ever go on a trip or if we go do something, we'll put that on.
Jam that album.
Definitely. It's been so long since I've actually jammed like an actual album. Like I usually just find like certain songs that I go to.
Yeah. Thanks to Spotify.
Yeah.
But Spotify makes it a lot easier to jam those albums.
Oh, yeah,
because
definitely.
I've been using like downloading the music, downloading the songs, and then putting it on a playlist, you know, or I would just jam all the songs in my library. And I never got the full effect of the album until now. I got Spotify. I can fucking click one song and it'll go through all of it.
Yeah.
And even if you don't pay for Spotify, you at least get to shuffle it.
Yeah, totally. It's definitely like I joke about it, but it literally being like every single. Well, it's not every single song in the world, but a lot of.
Half the fucking half the people that we interview are on Spotify.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is pretty, in depth.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I see it as a way to listen to a full album's worth of songs, but still, there's part of me that like. I guess I mean it leads to. I mean, like I've been waiting for Radiohead's new album to come out.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only hear like if you can find it on YouTube, you can listen to it. But every time I go to Spotify, they'll say like, "Yeah, the new album's not up yet."
Yeah.
So it's
You're
like,
yeah, Niko, we're not ready yet.
yeah, we're not ready for that shit yet. You can't even get fucking In Rainbows on Spotify.
I didn't know that.
I know that's probably because they did that thing where like they did it all by themselves. So
it's not through the whole press.
No. I mean, I got it off of Google Play.
You always bring up every conversation I've ever had with you, I think. Eventually, the Radiohead In Rainbows album pops up somewhere in that.
Well,
is it safe to say that's your favorite album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit. Obviously, if I'm talking about it, so that album really just had a huge impact on me. So if I bring it up,
it's a good album.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. Back to your song. That fucking took me back to the 90s.
Did it?
Yeah, like everything about it almost reminded me of like
that was the point of why I started jamming like those old things. It kind of take me back to who I was as a kid, I guess, and that Blur was the first band that I ever played on drums because I had a little electronic drum set.
That sounds like your style of drum playing.
Really, does it?
Yeah.
You pick that up from that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then I'm doing exactly what I want to do on drums then. that makes me feel better,
You've
man.
just been doing the same thing for...
That's cool, man. I don't want to progress. I'm doing amazing.
Right.
I mean, that was really my field of music, and I love a lot of music that's out right now.
Yeah.
But
you
I don't listen to a lot of older music.
I was about to say, like, if you say you love listening to music, but you go back to, like...
I go back as far as the 80s where I'm comfortable. I respect every bit of music, man. Mm-hmm. And that's what it comes down to, I mean, so much respect for Zeppelin, Aerosmith, and other bands that are before that. And it's just like I didn't really ever gel with music until, like, the Cars, in the 80s, and Guns N' Roses. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, 90s was really my home. And I think that, what it comes down to is the music that you start listening to whenever you start fucking is the music that will, last.
You stole that from somewhere.
I did. It's
Where did you steal that from?
I couldn't tell you who.
I think it's Chris Rock, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Whatever you jam when you start fucking will stay with you, Yeah, I think it was Chris Rock.
I caught your bullshit, man.
Caught my bullshit.
You had so much conviction, like you were so convinced in what you were saying.
Yeah.
Like maybe he may not know what it is I'm
saying.
No.
I was gonna come down to it, man. Chris Rock, man. I would have to say that I think he's underrated. Actually,
he's hilarious.
He's
that's the most terrible impression I've ever done of anybody. But anyways.
Was that a Chris Rock impression?
Hilarious.
Actually, I can see that.
Yeah.
But I think that he's underrated. And I think that Jeff Dunham is overrated.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So, Blur was the first band that I ever drummed. I drummed song 2. Don't.
Yeah. You want to know my first song that I ever drummed to was?
What?
Well, technically, it was Blue Monday by Orgy.
By Orgy, not New Order?
No. I was
You
playing...
heard the Orgy version first?
Yeah.
That's what you were going for?
Yeah.
I think it's the same drums, probably.
Yeah, it is. It's just different...
right.
Different tones in the drums.
Okay.
But that was when I was like 10 years old, and I got behind my friend's drum set, and I heard that song. I was like, I could do that, and then I perfectly did it. Humble brag. Anyways, and then whenever I got serious into playing drums, the first song that I ever played along to was "Float On" by Modest Mouse.
Yeah, Modest Mouse is a good 90s jam band too, man.
Oh yeah, they were great.
I mean, not necessarily are they a jam band, but I mean, it's a band you jam. Like all bands are.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's that same 90s feel, you know, and they're probably more in the double O's in the 90s, but you know, I want to put that in the same category because it's certainly alternative.
Yeah.
You know, even indie a little bit.
A little bit.
But I mean, it's loved by the same people.
In the sense that it sticks out from what's normally
It's
going.
definitely abnormal.
Yeah.
Especially the backup vocals.
Yeah.
That are off all the time, but it gives it another dimension. It really does.
Totally.
Was it I'm just a man in a box in the background of one of their songs.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's multidimensional, man. It's a great fucking Modest Mouse, actually, you know, even if it's something that, you know, you wouldn't even think that I jam, just the way that it sounds.
I know you jam that shit though.
You know that I jam that, but you know me deeper. But it's there's more to it than just Float On.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, and that's just one of those bands. I think that's probably underrated.
Yeah.
You know,
I think they have like I think they matter to their core fans.
Yeah, there's definitely a following.
Yeah, and I think they're okay with that as long as they
at least they get to be their original fucking selves. You know, I mean, they're not changing to try to be pop.
Yeah,
you know, they're not doing everything they can. Gwen Stefani. You know, they're staying true to what they are. You know, every album sounds a little different, but they're
even that album, "Bad News for People Who Love Good News." Even that still stuck out as something. You know, I mean, there were some catchier songs on there. Ocean Breathe Salty was definitely probably like the most poppiest hit that there was. And
other than Float On.
Other than Float On, yeah, that was probably a close second. But even still, like,
but it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all of it. Whatever's popular or whatever's not, you can jam the full album and dig it. I liked The Moon in Antarctica. I think that was the name of it.
Yeah,
that was a good fucking one. Drinking Coca-Cola, like that shit was fucking. The whole album jammed. You can jam the whole album and not have to worry about switching, tripping, flipping over songs.
Third Planet, which is the first song on the album.
Third Planet. Yeah.
I was actually
I play that on guitar.
I was actually talking with a friend about that album and about that song, and there's the line.
Fucking people over.
Yeah, that exact line. I figured out my only art is fucking people over, like something like that. Yeah.
Oh man, Bury Me With It was my favorite.
Oh shit!
Wait, which album is that?
That was Good News for People Who Love Bad
That
News.
was that one goes fucking hard.
That was one of the first songs, literally one of the first songs that I think we got like a true connection through, because we used to rock out to that one so hard. And there's that one line of the song that you really like. Life handed us a paycheck, and we said
we worked harder for this. Yeah. God, yeah.
Yeah, but as far as like the very
talking about
early,
taking me back to the 90s.
Yeah,
man.
the early start of like our friendship, like that song, that band, at least that song, was the one that we both heard, and we were like, we legit rocked out to that shit.
It was good.
Oh no, Christy's here. Okay, I guess I'll go ahead and transition into my song. I'm a huge Thrice fan.
Right.
I don't know how much of Thrice you listen to, but I've listened to them for like a real long time.
There's one song from Thrice that I dig.
Yeah. But there's one that just came off of their new album. It literally just came out a few days ago. But the song that I'm going to play is called Stay With Me.
took your fevered hands, felt like embers of the world's dying glow. And you were fan of light as I carried you quietly through the crumbling streets. And in the fading light, I could see in your eyes that somehow we were meant to meet. Would you stay with me if you thought the war was over and everything made right? Would you still believe in us? Would your love for me grow colder? No one left to fight. Would you stay with me? Would you stay with me? After the fever left, together we'd scavenge through the city and the scars. And when the day would end, bar the door against the demons and the dark. We'd share a can of something and a bottle of bourbon I'd hid away. It warmed me from within and you from without till I forget the chilling grave. Would you stay with me if you thought the war was over and everything made right? Would you still believe in us? Would your love for me grow colder? No one left to fight. Would you stay with me? Would you stay with me? Ooh, it seems like every night I lie in bed and worry that the world would start to heal. Now I'm terrified. If it did, you'd start to ask if what we have is real. Would you stay with me if you thought the war was over and everything made right? Would you still believe in us? Would your love for me grow colder? No one left to fight. Would you stay with me? Would you stay with me?
One of the things that I particularly like about Thrice and their style is, and you've listened to some of their music before. They have like a really, really good way of like digging deep and like creating like this harsh emotion. I think especially, I mean, the singer.
I think it's the singer mostly for me.
For me, it's a good combination.
The music itself reminds me of like this, like we've talked about before, kind of like they use like in Christian music, the delaying guitars kind of effect or whatever. But what I really pull from the emotional aspect of it is the singer and just how like he's fucking pushing everything that he's got into it. It is a religious thing. I mean, it is not necessarily religious, but it is an emotional thing for him.
They're a Christian
band. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they totally are.
Yeah, absolutely. See, I can depict that. There is a mathematical algorithm between Christian music versus the rest. Mm-hmm. I need to listen to more Jewish music and see if that's a thing.
Totally.
Maybe it's a different algorithm. But there's something about it that makes you feel a certain way.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about. I mean, because we listen to music where a majority of it is like people are screaming or like belting stuff
Right.
out. And
this is screaming that is out of true emotion versus the screaming that I personally usually listen to. You know, which is a lot of the time zero emotion.
I don't know. I've definitely heard.
There's some like if metal bands.
Yeah.
A lot of the time that there isn't emotion. It's just like that is their communicatory vocal skill.
Yeah.
You know.
No, there's bands that do it like the entire time, and it's almost like a very lazy move. Like to just, I mean, even though I know there's a lot of like that goes in like doing a scream the right way so that you're not hurting yourself and that it sounds good,
right?
But still, just using it because you can't really sing all that great, so you kind of use it as like a method or whatever,
right?
But then there's the people who like, not just using them as an example, but like other bands, like they'll sing or then like they'll throw out a scream, but there's a lot of emotion that's the way of that they can express like this intense emotion that's going through. Kind of like, I know you make fun of me a lot, but whenever like I was behind the drum set that one time during a live show and I screamed like randomly, like it was the only thing I could do to like express that emotion, like that intense, that feeling. I definitely feel like that a lot more than like I said, people who do it like the entire time, even though some people can pull it off and it sounds cool.
You know, it's case by case.
Yeah. I mean, we listen to what's that, of Mice and Men, or of Mice and Monsters, or whatever.
Of Mice and Men.
I don't know. Whatever the fuck that band is called. But anyways, we listen to them, and he's doing a lot of screaming.
Yeah. But there's a lot of emotion in it.
Yeah. So that's why it's okay with that. Where if I were listening to like
Cannibal Corpse, hey.
I wasn't thinking the band, but I was thinking the vocal style of it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of bands like that.
Yeah.
You know, no disrespect to those bands, but a lot of the times the skill's not in the vocals.
No.
That's just kind of like what carries it through. And a lot of the times, you know, it's not like there's any person lacking. Sometimes it's, you know, the guy is playing guitar is also the one who's carrying out the vocals, and that is just another dimension, like a bass guitar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To the music, and you know, it exists for a reason. You know, I mean, if they're big, that means they've got listeners. If they've got listeners, that means they're doing something right.
Obviously, but going back to Thrice real quick, I like in a lot of their songs he does that where he pushes it and he belts the songs out.
Right.
I mean, I know Daedalus is a big one for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But there's
that hits my heartstrings every time.
There's this one song called "The Weight." And weight is in WEIGHT, where he's talking about the weight that comes along with marriage and commitment, and how he dives deeper into marriage being a sacred thing between you and God. But it's almost who's say if he wrote the song for a specific person, or if he left it universal to where anybody could connect with it.
Right.
But him saying the words, and come what may, I won't abandon or leave you behind. But when he sings it, he's belting it out real hard, as if he's trying to convince the person that maybe he wrote it about, like he really means it. You know, like it's a serious fucking thing that he's like trying to a serious message that he's trying to push out. And even if, like I said, if it's a more universal thing or if it's a singular thing, the fact that he backs what he's trying to say up with that extra, no pun intended, that extra weight of his intensities is in his screams or the soaringness of certain melodies, or even whenever the backup vocals, like it's the guitarist and the bass player, like they do backup vocals as well, and that can take their music into a completely different thing. Just the fact that there's like that extra amount, at least that extra weight to
there's
it.
one song that I know of that he really, I've seen the music video for it, and there is so much emotion in that, and it keeps moving like further and further, deeper into the song.
Is it that one that
it's not enough?
Oh
yeah.
God,
yeah, that one where it's like he's marching in the fucking rain or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's just like singing straight into the camera.
One single take.
Was it?
Yeah, that was all one take.
Yeah, God, that's definitely, you know, I mean, I don't jam that song, but it's one song that I can definitely say there's a lot of emotion in that.
That's
a
probably
lot of
the
power.
most emotional song I've ever heard.
You think so?
To my knowledge, at least to me personally, like if I want to hear a song that is just full of like emotions.
It sounds like he caps all of the emotion that he can. Like he goes as far as he can in vocals, even, and he pushes as much as he possibly can. And it's, I mean, something about that band and I guess that guy. I mean, he seems like in image he seems like he's probably got like a body like mine, like just like the kind of bigger, heavier set.
He's got a little husk on him. He's
a little bit of husk. Yeah. And
he was a skinny dude for a while, but I think in the later years, I think by now he's probably in like his mid-30s.
Okay. So he's not much older than us.
No.
So then, you can hear that kind of in his voice.
What's crazy though is when they first started, like he had like a very young sounding voice.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. And it wasn't until like maybe Alchemy Index.
Oh, right.
Where it had Earth.
That's what Daedalus was in.
He kind of had a little bit of raspiness added to his voice, where he has a more mature sounding voice, where more on the lower end. Because I guess he can't really do those like higher notes that he was doing before. So he's taking what he can do now. But the thing is that it sounds so fucking amazing where you get songs like It's Not Enough. You get songs like Daedalus. You get songs
Daedalus was such a beautiful song, and I want to go into it because, I mean, it was such a strong story because, nothing can relate more to emotional heartstrings pulling to me than death of a child.
Yeah.
Or not necessarily child, but well, it was about his son. Yeah, Icarus. Yeah, it's Greek mythology.
Yeah.
And Daedalus, sewed wings for both him, to get off
a prison.
A prison. Yeah. And so they wanted
an island that was a prison.
He went towards the sun or something like that, and then
he told them, don't fly too high because you'll get burnt by the sun, and don't fly too low because you'll fall into the ocean.
Right. And
he flew too high,
and then he fucking died. And then there was in the song, you don't get what you get in the story. In the song, you actually get the feeling of
whenever he sings, "Oh God, why did you?"
Yeah. Oh God, why did
this happen to me? All I wanted was a good life for my son to grow free.
Now you took the only thing that meant anything to me. I will never fly again. I will hang up my wings. Oh God.
Yeah.
And like the feeling of that is like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
And the music keeps going, and it's just like this triad of chords that are just like do 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 do. It's so much emotion at one time. Every listener should take the song, close their eyes when they listen to this song, and really feel every emotion, because, dude, you'll wake up from that like you just had a fucking dream, man.
I wish, and they're gonna be playing at the House of Blues pretty soon, actually, June 8th, I want to say. If I get the chance to go, I'm going. But I don't know how much they play that song, especially since they have a new album out. I think they're gonna be pushing the new album, and then like the classics, like Artist in the Ambulance, probably.
It'd be nice if they did Daedalus.
It would be nice, but I don't know if they would. Yeah. I'll try and slip in a good word. Well, maybe they might.
June's coming up, man.
It sure is, faster than I was expecting. But I guess are you done talking to me?
Yeah, man. I think I'm done talking to you.
All right, man. Yeah, man. It was cool talking to you.
Yeah, man.
All right.
I like talking to you too, man.
All right, man.
All right.
Bye.
Signing off.
That's so stupid. Why couldn't we just end it naturally just by saying it was nice talking to you?
It was nice talking to you, Niko.
It was nice talking to you too.